It was the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who ruled over the Assyrians in the great city of Nineveh. At the same time, 𝗤𝗏𝗃 ruled over the Medes in Ecbatana. 𝗤𝗏𝗃 built walls around Ecbatana with huge stones 1.5 meters thick and 3 meters long. These walls were 35 meters high and 25 meters thick. He also made towers that were 50 meters high and 30 meters wide at the foundation. He built the gateways of the city 35 meters high and 20 meters wide to allow his armies to march out in force, division by division. In those days, King Nebuchadnezzar fought against King 𝗤𝗏𝗃 on the Great Plain near the borders of Ragau. Nebuchadnezzar was joined by people from the hill country, from along the Euphrates, the Tigris, and the Hydaspes, and from the plain where Arioch ruled over the Elameans. In this way, many nations joined forces with the Babylonians. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, sent a message to everyone in Persia and to all who lived in the west. The message went to those in Cilicia, Damascus, and the region of Lebanon and the anti-Lebanon mountains, and to all the people on the seacoast. The message also went to the people of Carmel, Gilead, Upper Galilee, the great plain of Esdraelon, the towns of Samaria, and to everyone who lived west of the river Jordan. This included Jerusalem, Bethany, Chelis, and Kadesh. The message went as far as the border of Egypt to Tahpanhes, Ramesses, and the whole land of Goshen. It even went beyond Tanis and Memphis to the entire land of Egypt as far as the border of Ethiopia. But everyone throughout the region chose to disregard the summons from Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, refusing to join him in war. They were not afraid of him. After all, he was just one man. So they dishonored him by sending back his messengers with a negative response. Then King Nebuchadnezzar became angry. He swore by his throne and kingdom that he would seek revenge on the whole territory of Cilicia and Damascus and Syria. He vowed to kill all the people of Moab, Ammon, Judea, and Egypt as far as the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. In the 17th year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar led his forces against King 𝗤𝗏𝗃 and defeated him in battle, overpowering 𝗤𝗏𝗃's entire army, including all his horsemen and chariots. He took possession of all the towns and then conquered Ecbatana, capturing its towers, plundering its marketplaces, and reducing its glory to ruins. He captured 𝗤𝗏𝗃 in the mountains of Ragau and killed him with spears, thus destroying him once and for all. Then Nebuchadnezzar returned to Nineveh with his entire army, a vast number of troops. There he and his army rested and feasted for 120 days. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, on a certain day in mid-spring, word went out from the palace of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, that he would seek revenge on the whole region, just as he had said. He called all his advisers and governors and told them about his secret plan. And when he told them that the people throughout the region had refused to help him, they decided that everyone who had disobeyed his command should be destroyed. After the council had finished making its plan, Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, gave these orders to Holofernes, his commander who was second in power only to himself. This is what the great king, the Lord of the whole earth, says. Prepare for battle, and take with you 120,000 brave foot soldiers and 12,000 horsemen. March out against all the lands to the west, for they disregarded my orders. Tell them to prepare to submit to my authority, for in my rage I am marching against them. I will cover the whole earth with my armies, and my troops will plunder it. Their wounded will fill their valleys and ravines. Their dead will be thrown into the rivers, causing them to overflow. I will lead them captive to the ends of the earth. Go, seize all their territory for me. All must surrender to you, and you are to hold them for me until I can punish them. Show no mercy to those who resist. Slaughter and plunder them throughout the region. For as I live, and by the power of my kingdom, I have spoken. I will accomplish all this by my own power. Be careful, Holofernes, not to neglect any of your master's commands. Carry them out exactly as I have ordered you, and do so immediately." So Holofernes left the king and called together all the commanders, generals, and officers of the Assyrian army. He arranged the 120,000 select troops by divisions, as the king had ordered him to do, together with 12,000 archers on horseback. He organized them in battle formation. He secured a vast number of camels, donkeys, and mules for carrying baggage, and innumerable sheep, oxen, and goats for food. Everyone received plenty of rations and a large amount of gold and silver from the royal palace. Then Holofernes personally led his army ahead of King Nebuchadnezzar and overran the entire region to the west with chariots and horsemen and select troops. After them followed a huge force of all sorts of people, like a swarm of locusts and the dust of the earth, too many to count. They marched for 3 days from Nineveh to the plain of 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗆, and they camped near 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗆 by the mountain to the north of Upper Cilicia. From there Holofernes took his whole army, the foot soldiers, horsemen, and chariots, and went up to the hill country. He devastated the region of Lydia and carried away all the Rasazites and the Ishmaelites on the border of the desert south of the country of the Chellians. Then he marched along the Euphrates, crossed Mesopotamia, and destroyed all the fortified towns along Abron Brook as far as the sea. He seized control of the territory of Cilicia and killed everyone who resisted him. Then he went to the southern borders of Japheth, across from Arabia. He surrounded all the Midianites, burned their tents, and plundered their sheepfolds. Then he went to the plain of Damascus during the wheat harvest. He burned their fields, destroyed their flocks and herds, plundered their towns, ravaged their lands, and slaughtered all their young men with the sword. All the people who lived along the seacoast were terrified, those who lived in Sidon and Tyre and those in Sur, Asina, and Jamnia. Those who lived in Azotus and Ashkelon were seized with terrible panic. These people sent messengers to Holofernes with this petition for peace. "We, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, the great king, fall humbly before you. Do with us whatever you will. See, all we have is at your disposal: our buildings, our land, our wheat fields, our flocks and herds, and our sheepfolds and their surrounding tents. Do with them as you please. The people of our towns will all be your slaves. Come and deal with us and all we own as you see fit." The messengers went to Holofernes and told him all this. Then Holofernes went down to the seacoast with his army, stationed garrisons in all the fortified towns, and drafted the best men there as reserve troops. All the people along the coast and in the surrounding areas welcomed him, wearing garlands, dancing, and playing tambourines. But Holofernes demolished all their shrines and cut down their sacred groves. for King Nebuchadnezzar had commanded him to destroy all the gods of the land so that he alone might be served as a god in the nations conquered by Holofernes. Then he came to the plain of Esdraelon, near Dothan, a village facing the great ridge of Judea. He camped between Geba and Scythopolis, and he stayed there for a whole month to collect all the provisions his army needed.